Definitely a lot of relevant names this week, so it's going to be very interesting to see what we do on the buy, hold, and sell front.
Yeah, would you like to head into that?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm just trying to find all the buttons. This is
target acquired.
With Cleary and Hines out, Sean Johnson out for 2 weeks with his, shoulder. DCE's not in the greatest form. Jerome Hughes is still out with his calf, I'm pretty sure, as he has not been named. So halfback's thin, but there's been one that's risen above the ranks, and that is Sam Walker. Sammy Walker's a great buy, Mattrix, but it really comes down to what your numbers are looking like in round 14, because a lot of people probably own Connor Watson now. A lot of people own Terrell May. A lot of people own Angus Crichton. Then if you bring in Sammy Walker, you've got Manu, you've got Dom Young. Like, you could be having 6-7 Roosters out, and that doesn't include the Raiders, who people still have Smithies and Weeks and Strange and Schiller. And it also doesn't include the Dolphins, and people are going to have Asako, Plath, and the likes there as well. So, Sammy Walker, what are you thinking overall, and then in terms of like a buy structure schedule?
I love it. I genuinely think that Sam Walker's the best buy-in this week. I tell you what, you would have loved to get on him last week when he was 100k cheaper, but I personally can't. I just can't hold 5 Roosters. I've got Terrell May, I've got Angus Crichton, I've got Joey Manu, I've got Dom Young. Realistically, worked out fantastically for me last week. But yeah, you just can't add another Rooster in the fray when round 14 for me is going to be a lot harder than round 13. Because, of course, you have to field 17 in that mini buy round.
Yes. I'm pretty thankful. I've only got, if I do opt to get Sam Walker this week, I'm only going to have 5 out in round 14, which is not awful and definitely manageable. So for me, I think he's a great buy. I mean, he's starting to really find his form. The Roosters are playing great footy. His goal kicking has been much improved, which obviously helps as well. And yeah, the Roosters just keep rolling through teams, and he seems to be the focal point of the attack. So wonderful. As we said, no huge issues with Origin. He's probably the 4th choice when it comes to Queensland. You got Cherry Evans, you got Dearden, you've got Hunt, and then probably Sam Walker would be in the mix there. So yeah, Origin front, all things go. I can't say the same about Matt Burton. Now, he seems to be really divisive with the Origin chat. You and I are both Queenslanders, proud Queenslanders, so we don't really care too much, but I think Matty Burton's been the form 6 of the comp. If you take around the entire season, yeah, Munster's probably playing better. But in terms of like the season as a whole, Munster's only been around for 5 minutes and Burton's been there since round 1. If they're not going to play Moses and Hines, which I think would be I think it's a long shot for Moses and Hines to be the 6 and 7. The next best bet is probably Matt Burton. So you're buying him with a lot of uncertainty with Origin. But if you're just a head-to-head player, I think he's a great buy.
Yeah, and I was the guy that put Matt Burton in there because I'm trying to find an alternative to Sam Walker. You're paying up, but a lot of people have banked some cash from your Fullers, from your Schillers, from all these other guys. And if you haven't spent the money, it's fine to go across to Matt Burton, probably at 5/8 or halfback, to be honest. I'd love to be talking about Dylan Brown as a buy this week, playing him as halfback that you alluded to last week, because I probably like Dylan Brown a bit more than Matt Burton, but I genuinely might end up having both of them heading in, going forward. So
yeah, I think Dylan Brown is the pick of the lot, and the only reason he hasn't featured in the buy, hold, and sell is because he provides 0 value for me at 5/8 at the moment. You've got Max Plath, who's obviously out, yes, but you've still got Ethan Strange, you've still got Lockie Galvin, who are much cheaper and doing a fine job, but halfback is getting very thin. So Dylan Brown's going to feature heavily in the buy, hold, and sell next week. And I guess my general advice is, when it comes to taking an AE this week or not, I've alluded to it with my team, pick your vice captain early. And if they score 90 odd, I'd take it because it's a free loop. You can captain Cleary, and then look at moving him on next week for a Dylan Brown.
Yep, I'm with you there. Look, take us down to the Novocastrians. Greg Marju, yes. What do you think?
Mate, we were really keen, me and Braino and yourself, we were keen last week. We wanted just to see it. But it looks like he's back in the work rates, which is nice. That hand isn't hampering him too much. The base is back up. Yeah, the couple of tries were nice against, Brett Naden. It's it wasn't a hard matchup as we discussed. You had John Bateman, you had Stafford Tower down, and you had Semi Faino. So you had 3 combinations there running through the game. So not the greatest test for him, but the work rate's there. That's the positive thing. You're getting him at a discount to what we started the season with. People forget that he was the premium center wing that everyone wanted, and it wasn't to be. KP went down early, and it took a little bit of time to find connection with Armstrong. But I think he's really finding his feet, and we'll talk about him in a second. But Greg Marzu, that form has turned around. And yeah, I'm not looking so much at the attacking returns. I'm more looking at that work rate, and that gives me confidence as him as a buy, especially if you didn't jump on a Dom Young and you're wanting to fade him because you have too many Roosters. I think Marzu is probably the next best bet.
Yeah, look, I like Greg Marzu, and he's at a juicy price. The Titans sort of proved not to be that easy matchup that they were, but is he running at AF Alofi Khan Pereira this week? AKP?
Yeah. Oh, no, he'd be running at the other side. So whoever's on the other side, he'd be running it. But still, the Titans, yes, they've been better, but they're still leaking a lot of points. So it's not like they're any kind of defensive stalwart. You're playing at 3:00 as well at Suncorp on a Saturday. Really good fixture. So he'd be running at Jojo Fafita, which it's still a fine matchup for him to run at. You've got a halves combination of Randall and Verrills. It's going to be it's a struggle for them to get on the front foot with that halves combination as well. No Foran, no Brimson. So I like the matchup for Marzu. He is still at a great price to pick up. As we've said, a few times, his work rate is back, and that's the most important thing. 515K for him this week with a break even of 17. So look, if he does go huge again this week, if he gets an 80, he's only going to go up another 60K or so. So you're still buying him for sub 600 next week. But the matchup against the Titans is a nice one. They are still conceding points at the end of the day.
And I noticed last game that it was almost David Armstrong doing the Kalen Ponga, running down that side and getting the ball to Greg Marzu, which probably leads to our next one in David Armstrong. A little bit of a stack there between Greg Marzu and David Armstrong. Only for 800K for the stack.
I know, that's such a good stack as well. I mean, the stack at the start of the season was costing you 1.6, so you're getting it for half price. Worth noting, Armstrong isn't a natural fullback either. He's been playing a lot of wing in New South Wales Cup, so it would have taken him some time to find his feet. Scored a 68 last week, which was fantastic. Season average of 59. Had that one bad score in the torrential rain, so put that down to what you can. Came in on debut, lit it up as we know. Scored an 84, and then 25 in the torrential rain there at McDonald Jones, and then bounced back last week with a 68 against the Tigers, where he was swinging on that left-hand side, which is really, really promising. And then a couple of great matchups. Does have the Titans next week with the bye in 12. Plays around 13, then takes on Melbourne in around 14, who will probably have a fair few players either backing up sore or not backing up at all. Does play Penrith in around 15, which is an ideal, and has the bye in 16. So he's actually only going to have probably 2 slam dunk fixtures between now and around 16. But, the horse is bolted on KP, and you're getting a starting fullback in a really potent attacking team for under 300K. And you're very thankful that score of 25 last week probably slowed the cash down a little bit. And if you didn't jump on him, 299K is the perfect time to do so, with a break even of exactly 0.
No, starts making money as soon as he steps out on Suncorp on the weekend. But probably he's probably just not going to be a play every week over the next couple. He's still going to make you money. So
no, I think the thing with Armstrong is if you have RTS to Armstrong's a great downgrade. And I understand he doesn't play; he misses 2 games out of the next 6, and 2 of those are against Melbourne and Penrith. But if you don't have the cash to go to a Marzu, I think Armstrong's your next best bet. Like if I had unlimited money, RTS to Marzu is what I would do, because I'm still happy to play him week to week, knowing that he's got a good 45 floor in him. But Armstrong, for 300K, temper your expectations. But I still think if he has that fullback spot, until KP returns, if he does return, then, you could be making 250, 300 on him, and I'd be happy to jump off at 550.
No, sounds good. Somebody you will not make 250, 300K on, Dylan Edwards. And I'm sort of in the same boat as exactly what you said about Matt Burton. I'm just not sure if he'll get picked in Origin, and I don't want to pay that much money, and I don't want to get a guy that if you're picking, look, from over the border, if I'm looking at my team, you're probably right. Your Matt Burtons and your Dylan Edwards, I would probably choose, but I'm not New South Wales Origin coach. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, Dylan Edwards would be the perfect buy, if not for Origin.
Yeah. If Origin wasn't a thing, I'd be ripping my team apart to get Dylan Edwards in because he averages over 100 points a game with no Nathan Cleary in the side. He's goal kicking as well, which is really handy. 920k, up 215k on his starting price. Sky high. Break even of 101 this week. Could definitely hit it. So I'm not worried about that too much. It's the Origin factor. Yeah, 920k anytime's a lot of money to pay, let alone for a guy who could be missing a fair bit of time over the next 6-7 weeks. I think he should play Origin. I don't think he does, though. If I had to give you my bet on who plays Origin, who's more likely out of Burton and Edwards, I would back Burton in just because I think how shallow they are. It'd be a huge statement from New South Wales to drop Tedesco, who has been their captain for numerous years. Although I think Edwards has been the best fullback in the competition for the better part of 36 months, I just don't see them picking him, which I think is criminal. But if you're a guy that's just strictly playing head-to-heads and your league doesn't have, buys, or your league does have buys in 13, 16, and 19, I think Edwards is probably the best purchase of the week. It's not close for me.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get picked for Origin, we'll play round 13 and round 14. So, yeah,
we may have a special guest about to join us.
Oh, you're joking.
Hey!
Hello.
How
are we?
Good. Missing you.
Just talking about Dylan Edwards and how I just worked out while Whisperer was talking that I can go Trey Fuller to Dylan Edwards and still have cash left over.
You have so much money.
Yeah, because you've had on $1 million in your bank account for about 8 weeks, haven't you?
Yeah, it's accruing interest.
They should actually implement that next year. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
10% every week that you hold.
I've got about 91k in the bank at the moment.
What do you think, mate? Dylan Edwards. We think he's the best buy of the week if Origin's no factor for you, or if Madge came out and said, no, it's Tedesco till we die. 920k is a lot of cash, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of cash to pay up when there's no 100% certainty that it's not going to be Dylan Edwards. But I think maybe the saving grace, or the thing that maybe I'm talking myself into and making me feel a bit better about it, is the fact that with the loss of experience, I guess we could say. Yeah, no, sorry.
Stop trying to catfish and thinking that you're ranked 1,000.
Yeah, just 1,038 at the moment. I'll change it in a second. Is the fact that they've lost that kind of Origin experience, like Cam Murray and Nathan Cleary obviously going down very recently. I think they're probably going to need that Teddy's experience to lead them around the park. So that's maybe saving grace. Do
you think if they're lacking experience, they need to bring in like an Origin veteran, like a Tavita Pangai Jr.?
Has he finished his boxing career yet? Is he ready to go? I'll take him
with his one game.
No, he's on an 11-day stand down at the moment. I heard.
After he got belted. Yeah, I think Dylan Edwards, if Origin's no factor for you, or if you have full confidence in Tedesco being the fullback for New South Wales, yeah, he's probably the best buy of the week, averaging well over 100 with no Cleary in the team.
Fair shout. Don't rely on me to host this one, Mattrix. This is you.
Let's head into the hole.
The dynamic is so fucking thrown out of whack right now.
I'm enjoying it. I get to sit back and just enjoy myself. It's
now,
nice.
Holds, did we make this list before 4 o'clock today?
Yeah, I think we did.
We did it in the chat, didn't we?
I think so. Yeah. We have Kai Pearce-Paul listed as a hold. I'm opting to move him towards a sell, so we can touch on him probably at the end because he's probably indifferent. But Nico Hines, out for who knows. Talk is he didn't train today, but has been named. So to me, that says, hey, just have the week off. We're going to give you as much time as possible to be fit for this game, and it'll be a game time decision.
Yeah, I tend to agree on that. The problem with that now, and there's so many conversations around, do I sell Nico? Do I hold Nico? What do I do with Nico? And if Cleary was there, or if we had another, if only 1.5 went down, it'd probably be an easier conversation to have, wouldn't it? But
not only is Nico in doubt, the cancer that is Braden Trindle has also been named, which makes it like, fuck, what do we do? Because he's dog shit with Trindle and he's amazing without him.
Well, I mean, I put it in the chat to you guys this morning because usually I just wake up in the morning and have these really fucking random ideas about Supercoach, and I'm like, well, I wonder if this will work. And I said to you guys, I'm like, is there logic behind selling Cleary due to the fact that he will miss round 11? Round 12, they play the Panthers. If he gets picked for Origin, which there's every chance he probably will or could, he misses 13, 16, and 19, and the Sharks have bye round 20. So he plays 5 of the next 10 if he backs up for every game from Origin. Now, Josh, you're kind of convinced that maybe he doesn't play State of Origin.
I don't know. It doesn't bode well when Madge is like, hello, Jack Whiten, please come out of retirement. Please come play Origin. And Jack Whiten's like, I'm good, thanks. And all the talk is that, like, it's Moses. Like, if Moses doesn't break, then he plays. It's just so hard right now. I'm not selling Nico just because of what he can do. And I think he probably backs up if he needs to.
What do you reckon, Matty?
Yeah, look, I'm going to hold him because I can't watch another game where I don't own Sir Nicholas. But it's more for me, do I sell SJ, if anything? And that probably leads us into the next one. I think I'm probably leaning towards holding SJ because he's out for a couple of weeks. I know that you guys have him as a sell, but yeah, look, I'm thinking holding Nico, holding SJ. Worst case scenario, what do I get? Jamin Salmon's 30? Like, some people have to play Jamin Salmon every week. Like, I'm doing okay. So I won't be trading out either of these premium guys, just hoping they come back because I don't know. Not sure I trust any of the other guys.
It's pretty dire, isn't it, at halfback? There's really not a lot of options aside from, I'm sure you guys spoke about Sam Walker, I'm assuming, Matt Burton. Like, who else are you picking? Jackson Hastings? Shout out to Damo.
Yeah.
Tyrant Wishart?
You can see you can wait a week and wait for the teams to get named as well. Like, SJ's not going to lose any cash. If Nico doesn't play, he's not going to lose any cash. So you're not worried about that. The only if Trindle gets named on the bench or something like that, like he's in the reserves at the moment. If he gets named on the bench and we're worried that, Nico's going to play, and if it looks like, they're getting pumped or they look like they're pumping someone, then he comes off or something like that, I hate it. Like, that's when I would move Nico. But for now, it's holding Nico and SJ.
And calf injuries suck and they hang around forever. Like, we've seen it. Do you feel better now, Josh? Is that all right?
No, because I'm going through and starring all the comments because we didn't do it at the start. And then Wayne said me in the middle looks so odd. And while I'm here, I'm just going to do that to get it back to some kind of normality.
Yeah, okay. All right. We're back. Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody thought about potentially, and maybe for you, Mattrix, like you've got SJ and you've got Nico, because Nico's 1.052 million, like that's a lot of money to not have playing. Like, I know there's uncertainty around whether he plays Origin or not, but have you once thought about selling him through this Origin period and even buying him back round 17? Like, the draw from round 17 for the Sharks is actually handy.
No, because I got rid of him and then, it burnt me. As I sit there, if I do 2 trades this week, I've got 23. Like, I think I'd just rather bench him than find the cash. Like, money isn't my problem really at the moment when it comes to Supercoach. It's about, getting some points. And you know what? I can play some other guys in some other weeks. I can play some guys on matchups with the, play with the reserves with the center wings that I'm sort of stacked at. And I'm okay if Nico doesn't play every week. I'm more worried about trades at this point than the money.
Yeah, I also agree. Like, Joey Lussick without hands, Kai Pearce-Paul on the bench, Hines, Plath, Armstrong are all guys that I'm not playing this week. So I've got enough depth to cover. And like Blaze Lung at fullback, he's now a revelation. So like, money isn't the problem for me either. Like, as the same with Mattrix, it's just like, what happens when we sell him and then for some reason we have 4 injuries the week that he returns, we don't get him, and then he goes for like 160 again. It's just like, I'd rather just not have the headache of buying him back. Like, Cleary for me, is averaging 62.4, which is just putrid. Like Sean Blaw's averaging that. Kai Pearce-Paul, despite coming off the bench for 2 games this season, he's averaging 57. Even Josh Curran's averaging 3 points less than Cleary. So it's like he's the one that's got to go, and he's the one that's priced at 805K and averaging 62. So he's 200K value on what he's performing. And Dylan Edwards is just becoming more and more involved in the attack. So for me, he's the one that goes, and we just take like Hines sucks. He was only averaging like 76 with Trindle, but 76 is still by far and away the best halfback in the game. So like he's the guy, even at his worst, he's still the best, and I want that in my team rather than having Cleary.
Yep. Yeah, good discussion. I'm holding as well for the record, but I know there's a lot of people moving him on. What about Max Plath, though? He just a HIA this week? I missed the injury part at the start.
Just a HIA. 512K, averaging 53, which includes 2 pretty bomb scores, and then I think a pretty bomb score when he started, like when he just came into grade. I don't think he was playing big minutes. So, we take the games where he's playing like okay minutes. He scored 94, 72, 52. Yeah, the 94 was with some attacking stats, but still, like he can do that playing 13. And no one's really sticking up out at halfback. Sorry, at 5'8". We've discussed Dylan Brown's value at the moment lies at halfback, and Burton. Who knows what happens with him and Origin? So it's funny, isn't it? Like we spoke at so length all preseason and even in the early stages in the season about how dire 5'8" was, but now we're sitting here being like, well, Dylan Brown, a non-goal kicking, non-dominant half, his true value lies at halfback because it's just so thin.
Yeah,
it's dropped 200K. He's so great. He's dropped 200K this year already.
Worth noting in the chat as well, the big news today, Tom Flegler could be out for the season, which is probably only going to help Plath. I know they're not playing similar positions, but established first graders getting more minutes is probably the main thing as well. So, yeah, for me, Plath are holds. I'd rather sell Galvin for me, for example, I'd rather sell Galvin over Plath when the time comes to sell one of them.
Yep. Fair call. And we've got it here on the hold list as well. Anyone not injured, which is pretty relevant this week.
If you're selling a green dot this week, then fuck me, your team must be crash hot. Let's chat KPP because he was at the top of the list, and we sort of said, okay, well, 4 o'clock happened and things changed, so we'll put him between holding and selling because he's probably more of a contentious debate. Now, KPP, there was Barry Tui. Unfortunately, Barry's been wrong more times this year than what he's been right. So take that with what you will. Still scored 41 in 40 minutes last week. Price at 5.57. What are we doing? Because he's probably going to play 40 minutes. Dylan Lucas runs through the middle for a little bit after halftime, but I don't know if I want to be having a guy that's, 550K pumping me out 40 minutes.
And now Mattrix's value is, 80 break even. You're probably going to start to bleed cash if you only see 40 minutes every week.
Probably, but I've got on the list keeping Mulatalo with a break even of 111. Like, I think we've got bigger problems in our teams than Kai Pearce-Paul. But say you've got 30 trades, then going a Kai Pearce-Paul to somebody else, completely fine. But I just kind of like the fact that there's no chance this guy plays Origin. He's been playing really good footy. I know Dylan Lucas has been good too. Look, at a 1 ppm or whatever he got last week, like, I'm just not ready to pull the trigger on him yet.
In my instance, I can do KPP to Adam Fanua-Blake. Both those guys not playing Origin, and Fanua-Blake set to get keeper at front row forward. That's something I'm definitely eyeing off. Just via Curran or May. But like the thing is, May is 567K. He's playing 35, 40 minutes a game, but his PPM is just so far and away better than KPP's. I'm just not too sure what we do because Frizzell is by no means injury proof, and Dylan Lucas has been in and out of the squad. So it's like, are you happy to lose a bit of cash on him because you've made 212K if you bought him from bottom dollar? Did lose 40K last week, and if he scores 40 again this week in conjunction with his minutes, he's going to lose another 35K. So back down to about 520.
Yeah, Yeah, again, I don't know. Money's not the problem for me, but I understand trading him out this week.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the comments. There are
Yeah, a flying toilet's been really
a flying toilet was a big feature in our NBL podcast last year. Big Mattrix fan from what I've heard. But yeah, mate, you're welcome at any NRL anytime that you want. And also for Ian Johnson ripping me for catfishing everybody with my score on the screen still. I can't actually change it. I have to exit the fucking thing and come back in again to change it. I tried to do it the way we normally do before the actual live starts, but apparently you can't now.
Oh, no, you can't. Yeah, I could add mine because I didn't have one, but yeah, you can't change it. So, oof.
Yeah,
but anyway,
galore. That's all right. Maybe I'll quickly duck out and duck back in. Talk about Mulatalo then, Mattrix. Like, I mean, have we adequately covered KPP? Sorry, before we move on.
Yeah, I think so.
I just think Mulatalo's like one of those guys that he has these peaks, he has these troughs. We could see we could start to see a little bit of a change up in the halves again with Trindle looming, and that's really where Mulatalo excelled. Again, the trades have more value than dollars for me at the moment, and I just think Mulatalo, where he could go on a run, and the Sharks are absolutely humming. He doesn't seem to have that floor of 10 or 15 that he used to have. He still pumps out 50s when he's not going fantastic. Yeah, look, I just can't see a world where I trade Mulatalo out. And maybe I just have bigger problems or I'm trying to save some trades. But Mulatalo will be a season-long keeper for me. Lock it in.
Nathan brings up the point that I wanted to bring up. Like, there's no Hines and there's now Trindle. Like, fuck, all the balls just going to go, like, to the left. Like, all systems go to Kailero and all systems go to Mulatalo for me. Like, how much is he? Because if Trindle's back in the fold, like, he's a borderline buy. I know that sounds crazy, but, like, he's a guy that I'd be wanting to have in my team if Trindle's back.
And rip everybody who bought Britton Nickera like 3 weeks ago, like me.
Yeah, 1,000%. Me too.
I should have got Teague Wilton.
Actually, I never jumped on him. I thought I did. I didn't actually end up jumping on Nickera.
No, you had to reverse the trade, I think, when you had it laid out.
Yeah, I did too with RTS. 111 break even. That's the thing against the Chooks. So probably if you like me and you're looking at buying, definitely hold off. But I think with Trindle back in the side, man, like I'm so keen to just hold him.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. So Trindle's in the reserves this week, right? So there's every chance we're probably saying that Nico is going to drop out and Trindle replaces him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're worried about, considering he's not really training. And I know it's only Tuesday, but yeah, that's what we're worried
Nico's
about.
also a guy that just like that probably doesn't need to train. Like he just doesn't need to.
Yeah.
His fitness is fine. His combinations are fine. It's a case of being like, if you're playing, have the week off and do a captain's run on Friday and just make sure you're sweet.
Fair call.
And the beauty this week is there is no Thursday game, so all the 24-hour mail will come the day of Magic Round starting. So there's no Thursday game to contend with this week.
Yeah, that's true. Should we move on to the cells?
Yeah,
let's do that. Turbo first on the list. Injuries galore, right? So maybe we preface this by saying that all of these guys that have multi-week injuries, we had SJ on the list before we found out he was only 2 weeks, so we can probably scrap him. But Turbo, Cleary, RTS, AJ Brimson, who else are we mentioning here that we've forgotten?
Did we get a timeline on AJ? All I saw was it was painful.
No. Yeah, groin. I think from what NRL Physio said on his podcast, he said that groins are usually the bark is worse than their bite. So like they are quite painful, but you can return from a groin strain within 1 to 2 weeks if it's a grade 1. But if it's a grade 2, we're probably looking at that 4-week mark. So if we find out news that it's a 4-week grade 2 strain, yeah, he's definitely a trade out.
It sucks for people that bought him last week, doesn't it?
He still scored well, though. Normally when a player goes down injured, they cop a 12 or something like that, but he got 79. So, like, that's still a good little party present there. Who else is a sell?
Everyone that's out for more than 2 weeks? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, yeah, maybe if you're holding a bit of dead wood, I'm thinking about trading out like a Lussick or somebody like that. We've made a bit of cash out of these other guys. It's time to upgrade. It's time to look at the buy schedule and work out where I need players to play. And of course, looking at Origins, I'm looking at some blokes with a Kiwi accent or a really nice draw. So,
Bateman as well. Bateman, if you're one of the idiots that bought him for your NRL fantasy team last week, that runs a podcast, he's out for 8 weeks, so he's done as well. So yeah, all those guys.
The scores that he had was good, and I'm like, oh, John Bateman, if he runs sideways and has 15 tackle busts like he does most weeks, fantasy reward that kind of shit. But
yeah,
I didn't buy him. I wasn't silly enough to buy him.
Went down and he got played at center. But yeah, look, apart from that, that's sort of it. Watch list. I'm going to add Tuafa'alongo there as well. I'm going to keep adding him until I just see something. As I said, I'm happy to pay upwards of 500k for him. But the problem is, perhaps injury was only 6 to 8 weeks, and we're already 2 weeks into that. So if he keeps stinking, it's just like there's no point buying. So I want to see something relatively soon before I do jump on.
Have we spoken about Blaze Talangi at all? Because I'm assuming there'll be comments and questions about him.
Yeah, I'm not buying. I think we said this on Sunday. I'm not buying. If you have him, he's a slam dunk play, but I'm not buying.
Yeah.
Good question in the chat here from Fisher. What are we doing with Sam Hughes? I didn't think we'd be talking about Sam Hughes ever, but 411k just quietly gone up. Break even to 50 this week. I think this week, I mean, some teams are probably going to have to play him this week. So if he pumps you out 40 and you loses your 10k, well, cool. I also think he's.
Did I read that wrong? Is that front row forward 4? He's a front row forward 2 in elite teams.
I think Sam Hughes is the kind of guy that will just never drop cash and never make cash. If he scores 40 every week, it's going to be like he'll go up 10k, he'll go down 10k. So I'm probably never going to sell him.
Yep, fair call. The biggest question, I guess, from the last fortnight is what are we doing with Trey Fuller before we wrap up buy, hold, sell? What's the play?
Just the hysteria that people think that like he was about to overseed Hamiso. It was just absurd. I was a huge Trey Fuller fan. Like I was telling everyone to buy. I was defending all the buyers on social media. Everyone was like, haha, Turbo was the play. I was like a Trey Fuller defender. But it turned really quickly when all the owners were like, oh no, he's just going to stay at fullback now. Like you have to keep him there. I'm like, well, let's just calm down. I think the Trey Fuller sell or hold debate is interesting. There's no right or wrong answer, I feel it's a preference of what you want to do with your fullback. If you want to hold because you had the cash, you probably spent it at your center wings, or if you didn't spend the cash and you've still got it, loading up on your center wing seems like a great option. But if you're also the old school mind of like, we need 2 gun fullbacks, Latrell, Reece Walsh, I mean, insert Drinkwater, Edwards, whoever you want to put there. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer with this one.
What do you reckon, Matty?
So, as an owner, my plan is currently to hold him. Like I was playing around with whether I could buy, say a Dylan Edwards, but where the issue comes in going Trey Fuller to Dylan Edwards is if you have the New South Wales fullback and the Queensland fullback, you find yourself in a little bit of a hole. So, yeah, I'm going to be.
I don't think it's that big of an issue because you only have to play 13 players. Like you can have no fullback, you can have no halfback. Yeah. So if you have Cleary and Hines and you have Edwards and Walsh, you can just not play those guys and you can play Sam Hughes and Joey Lussick of the like. Yeah, it's not going to be great, but
yeah,
I expect Edwards to back up, and I probably expect Walsh to back up too. Just to be honest, unless they play Sailor, I don't know. You're more of an expert than me there.
Yeah, so Sailor's out for 8 weeks. So.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, Reece Walsh is backing up then.
Reece Walsh is backing up. Yeah, but Fuller's going to play 13, and then we're going to get another price rise out of him as well. So not only, like he's got a break even of 20.
Okay.
Yeah, 20. So we're going to make, so not only am I going to have a really good player for round 13, if I wait that long, because I think I'll just get rid of him round 14, but I'll have a really good player for round 13, and then I can just move him on, cop another price rise. I don't think I need him this week. Like, who am I reaching for? Like maybe a Lockie Galvin or somebody like that who I wasn't going to play. If I boost him to or trade him to like a Dylan Edwards. Yeah, I'm on the hold Trey Fuller, but only for 2 weeks. So it's like a little asterisk.
Yeah. My thing is like if you hold and he scores 100, you make 80k. Oh, you don't have a fullback for 3 weeks and you make 80k. I don't know if that's the play for me. I think that the changing of the rules for buys, where you only have to have 13 players, doesn't matter where they play, that changes a lot with your premium trades, I feel.